Welcome to Venezuela.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Felix Ramon Plasencia Gonzalez, previously Venezuela's Minister of Tourism and Foreign Trade, was appointed ambassador to China on October 25th, 2020, to arrive in Beijing in the midst of the global pandemic. What was his personal experience of the epidemic and prevention measures taken in China? What does he think of the Chinese government's role in combating COVID-19 and reviving its economy? Welcome to this episode of Face to Face. You arrived to your posting here in Beijing in October 2020. That means it was in the midst of a global pandemic. So what impression do you have of Beijing during that time? And also, I believe that you visited Wuhan in the very recent past. How did that city compare to your expectations?
You know, in Venezuela, we're working against the pandemic with the assistance of Chinese government. We have an important alliance and relationship. And since the very beginning, medical equipment and doctors from China came to us to give us advice and assistance. So from back home, I knew a lot about what is the situation in China, how much good they're doing, how well they're working against the pandemic. But still, as you mentioned it, I was amazed when I first came to Beijing, working towards the pandemic, the use of the QR code to go everywhere, the protocols to protect ourselves, to protect our life, to protect our health. And I think it's a great example for the rest. I went to Wuhan, as you mentioned. First of all, it's a beautiful, amazing city with a great history. History has to come with the times of the beginning of the Communist Party and Chairman Mao there in Wuhan. The beauty of the river, the beauty of the architecture of the city, but also how it's thriving. Today you see a thriving city. We went to the hospitals, we went to the places where the big research is being done, and I was amazed by the technology, how modern everything look, and it seems to be very, very well put in place. And the way they managed to organize a large, big, huge city and control a terrible pandemic from the very beginning. We feel very well taken care of in China. And we're learning a lot from that back home, and we're applying a lot of their strategies back home.
This pandemic made a few people realize just how advanced that city is. Before you think it's just another provincial capital, but in fact they had a lot of technology, a lot of the high level biological research, of course, and a lot of things like this. People started to talk about it, and I think that a lot of people in China were confident from day one. Wuhan would get through this and they would come out stronger, and they've been proven right.
And they did, and we're very happy to hear that because it's good for the world, it's good for China, it's good for everybody.
About your experience coming in during the pandemic quarantine for 14 days, that's very tough for everybody, I'm sure. How did you get through that?
Well, good. I was keep on working. I came from back home, and before coming here, I was Minister for Tourism and Foreign Trade. So I was still engaged in many, working on the transit from leaving the office to the new people, my colleagues there, all good friends. So I was engaged in business and working with my people back home, but also getting to understand about my responsibilities in China and in contact with my people, our diplomats at the embassy. So it was a working whole day with some time for some exercising and a lot of time to enjoy and get used to introduce myself to Chinese food. So it was good. It's not easy. You have the feeling that you need to be out there, but when it's the need to keep quiet and at home to protect yourself and not to expose the rest of the people is what we have to do. It's a good lesson. It's a great experience, and I cherish those days.
Okay, yeah, I think if you understand the meaning of it and how important it is for the society, it's easier to put yourself through something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so it's well known that Venezuela was the very first country in the world to accept delivery of Chinese-made vaccines. So congratulations to that, of course. And up until today, there's more and more countries and regions that are taking advantage of Chinese vaccines and also anti-epidemic supplies and also the experience of the Chinese people and the experts in pandemic response. So how would you appraise the level of responsibility taken by the Chinese government in terms of the pandemic response and also the revitalization of the economy here?
First of all, since you mentioned that, we have to use the opportunity that you give me to thank the Chinese government for their support. And they've been very helpful, with not just Venezuela, with many countries in Latin America and around the world to provide vaccines. The pandemic is affecting everybody, and we're working hard against this and trying to cope with the whole situation. We've done it back home with the support of China. We can presume, we can show off today figures that are telling us that the situation in Venezuela is stable, is better. China is doing fantastic. You can see it. I saw it in Wuhan, but not just Wuhan. I've been all around the country. I've been in Xinjiang, I've been in Guangzhou, I've been in many places in Shenzhen, I've been around in Macau. Everywhere you go, the protocols are fully applied, and we should take the chance to, first of all, acknowledge that, and then learn a lot from the whole, because it's not a little thing to cope with such a terrible situation in a country as big as almost 10 million kilometers and 1.4 billion people. And they've done it with technology, but important and most important, with the commitment of the government and the participation of the people to make it a reality. And that's what we see here. That's what I've been seeing since I arrived in this few 6 to 7 months.
Okay, that's wonderful. And also, of course, the economy has come back on track as a result of this. And this is great for the world, isn't it? That we still have some growth.
The world is seeing China is still growing. The numbers, the figures are positive. It's an economy that is growing. And as I said, an economy of 1.4 billion cannot but impact the rest of the world. It's a country that with a large amount of potential for consumption. It needs a lot of products for the society, common products, food stuff. It's a country that produces a lot of elements, whatever products the rest of the world needs. So it's a strong and important presence that push forward for the development of the economy of the whole world.
May I ask you personally, have you benefited from a vaccine yet?
Yes, I had the 2 shots.
Good. How did you feel about it?
I don't even notice that I got the shot. I was very happy. I was always relaxed, confident. And we had to do it as an example, but also because we care, because we want to be careful with the rest. And and my colleagues here, they all went well, all was happy, and we are confident that it's working properly.
Great.
And China is helping the world.
It's an amazing program, isn't it? With all such huge production quantity.
It's an amazing program. We're not just taking care of their people, which is their main responsibility, but also their international responsibility with the rest of the people.
Yeah, that's right.
Ambassador Plasencia paid tribute to Mao Zedong at the ambassadorial residence in Beijing, holding an unveiling ceremony for a sculpture of Chairman Mao. What are his thoughts on the chairman? What special wishes would the ambassador like to share on the centenary of the founding of the Communist Party of China? And what are the opportunities for further cooperation between China and Venezuela? Welcome back as Face to Face continues.
Okay, so actually you've also made a very deep impression on the Chinese people since in the very short time that you've been here. And this is through your warmth and sincerity by holding a ceremony here, at the ambassadorial residence with a statue of Chairman Mao, paying respects to the chairman. And at that time you indicated that you would plan for this gift to be displayed in the presidential palace, in the office of President Maduro, I believe. And so how would you describe, from your point of view, Chairman Mao in terms of his influence on the Communist Party of China? And also, could you discuss your general views on the CPC and the 100 years of its existence? And finally, could you offer a message of congratulations or best wishes and talk about the future that you would like to see for this country?
Congratulations for the Communist Party 100 years anniversary. It's
Yes.
very important. They've done a lot for China and for its people and for the world. You know, Chairman Mao make it a successful path to be the leader of a future, a modern society, modern country. And the results are seen today. The evolution of this country from a medieval state to a modern society and having the commitment of the Communist Party. This is a society with a history larger than 5,000 years old. But in the last century and the past century and what they achieved in the times of existence of life of the Communist Party, they became a modern society that is adapting daily to the movements of the world. That's why we have President Xi later on proposing a road and belt for the world. And now we have the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Communist Party. I'm sure it's going to be a magnificent celebration this year. We're going to be part of that. We're going to cherish their moment. We're going to share with them the celebration because we are very happy back home about all the accomplishment. And I'm sure there's much more to come. There's a bright future. And the Communist Party leading there, and the presence always and the example of Chairman Mao in the past will always lead a very good way forward.
If we talk about the ceremony that you held, what inspired you to do that? And can I ask, where did you get this statue?
You know, the statue is being created by a great Chinese artist whom is a painter and also a sculptor. And he's done many sculptures. He's done the sculpture of Simón Bolívar, a national hero, and many other heroes in the world. Mandela is part of his great collection. When I came to see him last at the Museum Jintai, I saw the statue of Chairman Mao, and I thought, this is amazing. I think President Maduro at the presidential palace in Caracas deserved to have the presence of Chairman Mao as a good tool for his commitment to build up a great society back home. It is for the palace, for the president, and a message of solidarity and integration and friendship between our people. So it's a gift from the professor, whom is very kind, is a good friend. Also that painting there by Bolívar is by him, that he offered to us. He's committed to friendship between our two countries. And we're very happy and we're very honored to have it here with us for the time being.
Yeah, I've seen a picture, it's very beautiful.
It's on its way. We're waiting for the pandemic to make it easier for us to take it to Venezuela, where it has to be at the presidential palace.
Well, I look forward to the news report when it is.
We'll let you know.
Right there in the palace.
We'll maybe invite you to come and join us on the trip there.
That would be wonderful. Venezuela was the first country to issue its very own sovereign digital currency. Something, yes, very, very modern, and it's something that China is working on as well, of course. And in this area, and also under the general Belt and Road framework, what opportunities do you think exist for future cooperation between these two countries?
All opportunities. Venezuela should be the epicenter of Road and Belt in the Americas, not just Latin America and the Caribbean, but in the whole continent.
Wow.
Because of a strategic geographical position, because of our many resources. We have the largest oil reserve on Earth. We have one of the largest natural gas reserves on the planet. We are about to be certified #1 gold reserve on the planet, but we have plenty of water resources. Venezuela is an energy hub and is located at the north of South America, the very tip of the middle of the continent and
Yes.
our history of our leader and hero Simón Bolívar for integration, for cooperation. You know, Bolívar dreamt, and that's why Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, of a unified country from up north to the south. Venezuela should be, no doubt, the epicenter of road and belt for China. Our resources, our geographical strategic position, our loyalty to principles of support of international and multilateralism that we share with China, the protection of the international law, the protection of the United Nations chapter, and our commitment to win-win and to strengthen integration among different nations. So I think there's lots within road and belt, not just about energy, which is very important, but also agriculture. Venezuela is a vast land with rich soil and all water resources. Hydroelectricity is very important in Venezuela. We can be the epicenter of energy, and from there, you know, radiate to our neighbors, as we always done. Our neighbors, our bordering countries, Guyana, Brazil, Colombia, our island states in the Caribbean, our brothers, Trinidad and Tobago, the rest of the Caribbean states, Central America, South America, and the North, always in friendship with our brothers in North America as well.
So for the Belt and Road to have such a great hub in the middle would be really beneficial for, I think, all the people.
I am convinced about that. I am convinced that, as we've done it in the past with Petrocaribe, in which we supported 18 countries in Central America, in the Caribbean, with control and helpful petrol prices during the time of the petrol being above about $100 per barrel. It was impossible for different countries, for non-producing oil countries.
Yes.
We even supported poorish areas in cities like New York or Boston with a subsidy of the prices for the petrol, for the heating in those capitals. We even signed an agreement with London during the times of Ken Livingstone as mayor of GLA, of the Great London Authority. It is not to impose, it is not to control, it is to give aid and be present in solidarity.
Yes, because we all need to do what we are capable of, and surely Venezuela is very capable of providing
We are
energy
capable from
support.
our hearts, which is the main thing. And we have a mandate, historical mandate by Simón Bolívar.
Yes.
And we have all these resources. As President Chavez always said, we don't have the largest oil reserve on earth just for Venezuela. It is for
You can use it all.
everybody. It is for the
Sure.
world. And it has to be with the message of President Xi Jinping. It's a common society, world society, and we should all be careful and take care of the rest.
The world can do with more of this kind of leadership.
Absolutely,
Yes,
100%.
Bordered by Guyana in the east, Brazil in the south, and Colombia in the west, Venezuela is a dazzling pearl on the southern shores of the Caribbean Sea. Vast oil deposits, as well as an abundance of orchids, have come to define this country, as well as spectacular waterfalls, including the highest fall on earth, the famous tourist attraction known as the Angel Falls. Having served as Venezuela's Minister of Tourism, which attractions does Ambassador Plasencia most highly recommend? Let's find out.
This is our
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
The hero, Simón Bolívar, national hero, is everywhere. He's
Yes.
very important. He's very present for us in Venezuela in history and politics. Our relationship with China is very important. as
Yes.
I'm sure you're very much aware, since the time of President Chavez with President Xi, and nowadays with President Maduro and President Xi. China is a large country. China is 10 times our size and is 40 times our population. So a small country like ours can really provide a lot of energy resources needed in countries, not just China, but like China and around the world. And it's part of our interest as a historical relationship. Energy business has been our business for the last 100 years.
Do you ever feel when you're here you're like an oil salesman?
Well, I have to do it. What we do, it's mainly what we do, but it's not the only thing.
Of course.
It is beautiful.
Oh, wow.
lady here.
Wow, hello.
She's dressed with a typical Venezuelan dress used by the women in Los Llanos. These are los diablos danzantes de Jare.
And they look like a paint, but they're
It's
made
a dance.
from
They're
paper, right?
handmade, each one. Each one is completely different. You see the dress they use in red?
Yeah.
So these guys are dancing. They're dancing to the El Cuerpo de Cristo. So it's an approach to a Christian Catholic celebration, the Corpus Christi, with the African and local American influence, and it's been acknowledged by UNESCO's World Heritage. We're very proud of this. Even though they're using evil faces, is to go against evil.
Okay.
We're with the church, we're with God, we're against evil. So
It sounds a bit like the Chinese tradition of making noise to
it
scare the
is a
ghosts.
bit, and I relate it to the Chinese dragons.
The
It's
dragons?
our dragons.
Oh, okay.
It has to be with that, and it's noisy. You use all these maracas.
Ah, yeah? Make some noise?
Makes noise all the time. Nowadays, contemporary leader,
Yes.
Hugo Chavez, he is the man who really built up the important strategic alliance with China.
So this is much later that this room was chosen to commemorate
Yes.
Hugo Chavez. Yeah, I see
absolutely.
this.
And the painting is
Yeah.
done by a Chinese painter whom we like a lot.
So I would like to ask you, which places in Venezuela would you recommend that I visit with my Chinese friends?
We'll take you there. You know,
Okay.
the whole country is beautiful because it is part of the Caribbean. We have Caribbean islands, archipelagos, wild, beautiful. We have a beautiful archipelago called Los Roques, it's 320 k's, coralline reef with 20 bigger islands. It's a beautiful mission. It's a national park in which we protect the flora and the fauna. It's a place which we would like to take you. You have to go. And it's half an hour flight from Caracas.
Okay.
We also, I think you should also come with us to the south of the country, the Amazon rainforest, the Venezuelan Amazon rainforest. Canaima is a national park where there you have this flat top mountains called Tepuyes, and where there comes the waterfalls. And there's the largest waterfall on earth,
Oh,
known
I've heard about it.
historically as Angel Fall. I think it's the best, but we can also go to the Andes Mountains and see the Snow Scrape Mountains. There's a beautiful cable car that will take us to a very high peak, about 5,000 point something, about sea level high peak with snow, beautiful, you love it. And then the llanos, the savanna, the cattle ranching area, where there's the Orinoco River and the Arauca River, a beautiful area with culture, music that we share with Colombia, as we share the Amazon with Brazil and Guyana, and the Caribbean, that's part that integrates us even to up north. It's a very open and diverse country. In Caracas is a city about 1,000 about sea level, surrounded by beautiful mountains in a green, always green valley with special, unique weather. It's mainly spring all year round. And it's half an hour drive to the Caribbean Sea. Surrounded by this mountain, there's also a national park. I call it the Trinity of Caracas in the valley, the Green Mountains, and the Caribbean Sea. The whole thing together is part of what Caracas is. It's also history in Caracas. It is where Simón Bolívar was born, and it is where Simón Bolívar first defied the Spanish Empire in 1810, and the heroes before him. And it's from there that he started his campaign to free all the Americans. 200 years after Simón Bolívar, it was Comandante Hugo Chavez that tried to create this new path of a Bolivarian republic for the dignification and the dignity of the life of the people. And from there is example of integration, solidarity, and friendship with the Americas, with Africa, with Asia, and with the Pacific and Europe as well.
Yeah, so you could stand in the middle of the city and feel a lot of history wash over you and feel inspired.
Nature, history, the Caribbean, the mountains, and a thriving multinational city. Venezuela is a country that attracted many migrants from all around the world. A third of our total population is of foreign origin. And it's a very thriving, interesting city. You'll see the influence of the Middle East, the influence of the rest of the Americas, Portuguese cuisine, the Spanish cuisine, Italian cuisine, the cuisine that was brought by the Jewish Sepharad from North Africa, Moroccans that came to Venezuela. More than 500,000 Venezuelans of Chinese origin in the history. They came to live in Venezuela. Today, many generations, third or fourth generation of those Chinese that first came, but today they're coming and going. Some of them keep their business there and have their kids coming here for studying, and they're coming and going. We work with them all the time. They mainly came from Guangdong. So Guangdong is for us an important region of China, as much as Xinjiang, because of its resources, energy resources, diverse society is important for us as well. In one country in Latin America, Venezuela's got more than 40 different ethnic groups that speak their own different languages, apart from the Spanish, which is the language being imposed by the colonial forces when they arrived to the Americas.
Yeah, so it sounds like a wonderful place, and I'm sure I could spend a long time. You know, you had me at, I'll take you there. That's all you had to say. Greeting in Chinese to the Chinese people of the world.
Tough. First of all, I have to tell that I'm committed to learn Chinese. Mandarin is very important. Since I'm here, I'm trying my best, but it will take my time, so you have to be nice with me and give me some more time, and I'll make it for sure. 我爱你中国，我爱你们。
Wow. Wow.
I'm trying.
It's beautiful.
You'll be my teacher?
Yeah, for sure.
You'll be my teacher?
Yeah, we can go, keep on with that.
Thank you very much for being with us today. And you cannot go without joining me on a Venezuelan meal.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Prepared for you. I was even myself cooking a little bit.
Oh, thank you so much.
So if there's something that went wrong, it might have been my hands.
I'll enjoy it anyway.